I am Kesten Rono. Thank you for being here for day 60 of A Course in Miracles, our final day of review. Please, let's take a breath together, breathing all your air out to start. Appreciating emptiness, belly button in, for the opportunity to feel full. Inhaling smooth, hold another breath of air, one more breath, holding, belly button in, spine upright, with ease, appreciating fullness. And please exhale and relax. We remind ourselves that we may wake up to a new way of seeing, to fundamental universal meaning and purpose, to the idea of truth, which just is, and love, ever unconditional, wholly changeless, eternal. That we may do this if we simply allow ourselves to wear love and appreciation and open-mindedness. That we do so with devotion, but with ease. That we have simply been trying too hard, labeling things as hard at all, or believing that something really needs a great effort of trying to find meaning. That we are never separate from God. That we are made of this light for which we are looking. And we may notice that we are what we have been searching for the whole time. If I may remind you, yesterday we declared that you are perfect because God goes with you wherever you go. I have no thoughts I do not share with God. I have no thoughts apart from Him because I have no mind apart from Him. As part of His mind, my thoughts are His and His thoughts are mine. That we are fundamentally never separate. That love is the source of what you are. That you are a miracle and God is your source. That you are therefore of love and an expression of love, and all expressions of love are maximal. So even in our confusion, we may fall back on an idea that we could be made in pure love. That our Father, of course, would love us. That our Father, of course, would want to offer us everything that could ever be. That we are the continuation of mind in time and space with the opportunity to perceive and see, to imagine, to create. And if we so choose, we may even step away, we imagine, from the unconditional and truth to test ourselves in darkness, to provide us an opportunity like the breath and emptiness to wake up to fullness. And so we can celebrate even our upsets, for they have been providing us some sense of security, we imagine, an opportunity to create power and control. And we thought this was serving us, but it is just creating relative power that in our abundance we assume that someone must have lack. Why is this true? No matter what we build in darkness and illusion, we discover that it has no meaning, that there is something else we have been curious about. That if we believe that someone else cannot fundamentally have something in order for us to have it, then we end up coveting idols. And we believe that without these items, these ideas, that we are nothing. And there, of course, is our clue. That the experience we are having is trying to point out that these ideas themselves are nothing. Not that we are nothing, but our allegiance to them binds us to these illusions, and therefore we imagine that we are what the ego would have us believe. We are nothing without seeking some form of defense or attack. That we are nothing without our fear, which is giving us some kind of structure. But our investment in fear is, of course, creating more fear. It is the idea that we are growing even if we do not believe we are giving allegiance to it. But the beautiful part is we are never separate from God as we are made of light. We cannot create it, but we may notice it. We can only play in darkness if we believe that we have to organize everything that is around us. Perhaps we are working too hard. That with great ease we may simply notice as we notice how we feel and release it, as we notice our upsets and forgive ourselves and others, that we may notice that there is something very wonderful occurring, that everything is actually organized. And if we are not finding the love and meaning that we are looking for as we build in fear and everything else that we could define on its path, if we are not finding this love in everything that we experience in life, then perhaps there is some other way, some other system, some other design that we can awaken to. That innately we are connected to God, and innately we are able to notice this love and light, that we can build into the unknown to provide abundance, the opportunity to feel full, and to give it all away. That the laws of the eternal supersede the laws of time. That we may fundamentally exchange energy entirely differently if we are able to see with more clarity that to give something away does not need to create a lack, and therefore we do not need to possess something to mean something. That our fullness in the name of love and forgiveness may never leave us, that we are simply love and truth, and the truth just is, and the love that we are is unconditional, ever patient, wholly unchanged, simply here for us to notice. And we may always rely on this foundation to build. That it is a blessing to give and to receive, that we are full by accepting this practice, and that accepting this practice is the means by which we wake up. So first, we feel, we notice our upsets, and we begin to recognize that they do not serve us. We let them go. We forgive ourselves and we forgive others. We may start, quote unquote, small, something that feels like it's easy for us to offer whole forgiveness. That this is the path that provides us the momentum, or at least the frame of reference, to know that we can absolutely do this. And we can then stretch ourselves into the edges of our comfort, in our discomfort. And where we are uncomfortable, we simply realize that we do not understand and we are on a path to meaning. So we continue with the same blueprint, pursuing our excitement for forgiveness and what it may reveal for us, the levity, the peace of mind, the gift to ourselves and to our brothers. This is exciting. It is breaking the laws that we have been assigning to the world, that we may give. We may go first. We may offer something to ourselves and to someone else, that both parties are blessed throughout this process. That when we give of ourselves, we gain God's forgiveness, that we are never in lack. And in recognizing this process and realizing that we feel fuller, we may continue, that this offers us strength to move forward and repeat this idea for quote unquote bigger problems. That the miracles that are happening through the process of forgiveness is something of this realm of time and space. That this is a blessing to notice. And that we become more capable through the practice itself. That we need not know exactly how everything is designed. That we simply participate in noticing how we feel and letting it go. After that, we may simply observe what is already there. To notice that we have been talking over God's voice. We have been muddying this playing field. We have been accepting some idea of upset and attacks, therefore building in darkness, never in our best interests. And the light that we are, that God is, simply illuminates this arena, and we can see it for what it is. Nothing that we have been giving host to ideas that need our energy to survive, which is why they are fearful, because if that energy is turned off, they will die. So we believe we will die when we assume these ideas, but we do not die from the perspective of the eternal. In this light, we are fundamentally perfect. And it is okay to notice our mess so we may clean it. This is the great undoing through the path of forgiveness. This is the miracle. This is the idea of opening the door to the inexplicable from the current system that we are experiencing, the one in which we are participating, the one that we believed must be true in order for us to survive. But even as we forgive, we notice we are still here, that we exist. We exist in love and peace, and we feel fuller as we invest in these ideas, and we see their value compound. May we continue to move forward. And with that, let us move forward with our final review. 46. God is the love in which I forgive. Please repeat this idea. God is the love in which I forgive. God does not forgive because he has never condemned. You are not here destined to some hell by the Creator who creates out of love and truth. You are fundamentally not in any prison unless you believe that you are. That love is always being expressed, even if you cannot notice it. What would be the proof of that? We could lean on an idea that we exist. You know that because you are here now, thinking, operating, curious, dreaming, hoping. You exist. You are not here existing, hoping for more pain as if that will sustain you. This always leaves you in lack. You do not feel love through pain, truly. You do not feel levity through pain and fear. Your anger does not bring you peace. It is illuminating exactly what it is, and it does not serve you. God has not condemned you. He has blessed you with life. And in the eternal, He is simply always available. The love that He has created is unconditional. This is the truth. And by calling forward the light that you are, God's light, that to which you are innately connected, that you are created in His image, you are a mind, you have a mind, you have a consciousness, you exist. Where do you exist? In love. You exist in love, not in hell. You have not been condemned. You do not need to believe this any longer. You are invited to notice perfect peace, perfect safety, freedom from worry. And you have the tools to take the first step because God is the love in which you forgive. The blameless cannot blame, and those who have accepted their innocence see nothing to forgive. How could you declare yourself innocent? If you are willing to accept that you are not condemned, then you are guilty of nothing. Therefore, whatever you are feeling is in your own mind. You are allowed to feel it. Moving through it, as you have created these things for some purpose for you, you thought they were to keep you alive so you may survive. But they are here in reflection for you to notice the cause of them, which is your thoughts. These are in your mind. You may move through them with gratitude and love and open-mindedness, and you will feel them. And through feeling them, you will realize that you have declared their meaning, that there are no neutral things because you have no neutral thoughts. And as you move through them and give yourself permission to notice that it is simply just you noticing yourself, you have the freedom to realize you are a creator and you are not a victim of these ideas. You do not need to outsource yourself, your mind, your health, any part of you to somebody else. That you can decide that you live from the perspective of love and truth. And in order to get there, we may walk through that which with which we have been building out of fear. The irony that we are using fear to create a structure, and we are afraid of noticing it. We have built our own prison, but it is just obfuscating the light. The path forward is to notice God's love and forgive ourselves. This clears the way. And as we move through this process of whatever it is that we feel, not needing to blame, the blameless cannot blame. Without blame, we move forward with forgiveness. And therefore we can accept that we are not guilty, we are not condemned. Therefore we are innocent. And if we are innocent, we are pure. This is our purification. And if we are purified and we have taken the action to know, therefore on the other side, that we can do this, the first time we forgave, we had to go forward, even though we felt we had to believe that we lived below these attacks, but above all else, we want to see differently. Above all else, it is clear that we have done this before. We can do it again. We may forgive wholly. And therefore, in a purity that we can reach through these actions, actions being the communication of time and space, that we have proof. We know the truth, that we have everything we need because we have the tool of forgiveness. That is the miracle in action. where we live in time and space. That is what allows us to step closer to our true vision on the path to atonement, for us to notice God's love has always been here the whole time. May we feel immersed, returning, remembering that which we are. You are love. That is the truth. It is simply here in the unconditional, patiently waiting in total acceptance to show you the eternal again. Thank you for your darkness, as it is the means by which you will wake up. Forgiveness is the means by which I will recognize my innocence. Forgiveness. This is your tool. It is the reflection of God's love on earth. It will bring me near enough to heaven that the love of God can reach down to me and raise me up to Him. You are in heaven. You are believing you are in your own hell. This is why heaven is always connected to you. You are never separate from it. We simply believe we are far away. And so it is our belief as we work through our resistances and we invite ease, we are giving faith and power to ease through this tool of forgiveness. And we believe we are coming closer, as we believe we are in time and space, that it takes time to move across space, that we are somehow coming closer to where we have always been, that we may notice we are near enough to heaven, and the love of God can reach down to us and raise us up to Him. And that we have the power to realize we are never alone. And in fact, that with whom we are connected, He with whom we are connected is none other than our Creator Himself. May we feel comfortable allowing ourselves to be connected, to notice our connection to God. There's nothing to be afraid of. This tool of fear is not serving us. It is justifying by creating an idea of justification, of justice, that we must defend ourselves, we must attack, that the idea of victimhood exists at all. This is our own illusion and our own story. You are a creator, an inventor. You have an imagination. That is what you are. That is your gift of freedom to design anything. And here you are, believing that you must live below your pain, sorrow, anger, fear, disgust. And I'm telling you, you are not condemned. Please repeat after me one more time. God is the love in which I forgive. 47. God is the strength in which I trust. Please repeat this idea. God is the strength in which I trust. It is not my own strength through which I forgive. It is through the strength of God in me, which I am remembering as I forgive. Okay. It is the process of forgiving, the impossible task we would imagine, that of which we are most afraid. What is the ego afraid of? The truth. If we notice that we are vibrant, abundant in the name of love, that the unknown was simply the breaking point of the ego, that it cannot look beyond that eclipse because it is fundamentally afraid, that is its tool. And we have adopted this point of view, that if we can notice we are abundant, that we are complete and powerful, that we are worthy, that it is our birthright in the name of God, built in His image to know love and truth. If we knew this, it would be easy. And that is where we are headed, to the place of ease, perfect peace, perfect safety, freedom from worry. We are never in lack. We are always supported. There is nothing that we cannot handle. We always have everything we need because we are connected to God. It is fundamentally what we are, who everyone is that you are seeing. That you are not seeing it is your own spell casting, your own illusion in action. That is why we can rely on exactly what we are noticing, that these are reflections of our own toxic thoughts. Therefore, if we are in a system which requires us to be bound to these illusions, that we constantly are justifying a reason to fight, and we are blind to the idea that as we fight, we are just investing in more pain, more rage, more anger, more violence, more fight. That we are creating it constantly by doing it. This is our trick. This is what we are being asked to never see. And so from inside this system, it would feel impossible to forgive. But that is the point of forgiveness. It is the impossible. That's what a miracle is. It's illuminating the impossible, that which we cannot explain. That is the test of forgiveness. Will you let it go? Will you trust? Will you release? How will you find this strength? You will find it through the process of forgiveness. That is what holy forgiving is. Not to wait for the miracle to happen so that you can believe it, but to lean over the edge where you are most afraid and to take that step into the unknown, which is your own darkness. It's okay. You're just in here with yourself. To take that step, even though it feels like it will destroy you. It will destroy you, as in your perspective, the one that you have aligned with ego using fear as its tool. Of course, it is afraid to move forward. That's why this idea is so frightening. That's why we have conviction that this could be true. That's why we are curious. All of these things begin to dismantle the spell that we have cast on ourselves. And so it is your will to move forward, to discover your light. Even though you do not know what it is, you cannot see it from inside the system, so you have to leave this system. It will risk everything, and how you have been seeing the world will be destroyed. That is not the same as you being destroyed. You will continue to persist. You are here now, you exist. And if you want to borrow the past for a source of strength, you can see that there are probably many times across your life where you thought, this is the end. I cannot go forward. You could have been scared to speak up. Maybe you feel you were hurt. Maybe you are depressed. Maybe you have felt this way before. Maybe you felt you have been wronged. You've seen your world shattered many times, which is why you are understandably giving allegiance to an idea that the world is painful and that you will survive by simply getting smaller. This is so illogical once we can look at it. But that you thought each time you ran up against some kind of pain or trauma, that you thought it would be your end and there was no seeing past it, yet here you are, might be all the proof that you need, that you can take a step forward in the name of love, that you are volunteering this action. You must do it for yourself. It is through the strength of God in me. That's your light. That is what you are imbued with. A connection to God. You have formless, limitless light within you, even if you cannot see it. It is through the strength of God in me, which I am remembering as I forgive. You must stretch yourself beyond this system, to do what you imagine would be the right thing. This process will allow you to let something go and allow someone else to let it go too. But you are blessing yourself and another. By using the power of the invisible, reaching into the unknown, trying on a new idea that says, I no longer need to live below this idea. It does not create peace and love in me, and I am interested in the truth. So, defying all odds of how I have seen the world, despite my fear, or more really because of it and what it is illuminating for you, you will take this step. And in doing so, you will see how strong you are, and you will remember that you are strengthened through God because you have just done something in the unknown, that area that you have been afraid of for so long. And we are discovering that in the unknown, if we have not been finding it in our current system, in the unknown is where the bounty, the eternal bounty of love and truth exists. The opportunity to see differently, to find new meaning rather than the one we have been prescribing, and therefore to find new purpose. And suddenly we can build in our best interests and in the best interests of our community. And we are not threatened by any condemnation. We have no blame to pass. We are innocent in that sense. And in our innocence, we are full of light. We are pure. We are purified. This is your own path. You will do the undoing for you as you have done unto yourself. God has set you up with infinite freedom, and He is always here offering you the strength to see life differently. But each of us must walk it. You can do it. As I begin to see, I recognize His reflection on earth. We're reminded that the previous section said, forgiveness is the reflection of God's love on earth. So as I begin to see, we are noticing that our sight comes with our forgiveness. That forgiveness is this tool that allows us to recognize God's reflection on earth. If you want to see the reflection of God, the light of God on earth, where you are experiencing yourself in time and space, you must change your mind. You must unburden yourself. Take off your own shackles. Realize that you have been playing in darkness. If you can be full of light, you are changing the cause, your thoughts, with each step of forgiveness. Therefore, the effects around you will change. You will simply notice more of yourself because you are of God. I forgive all things because I feel the stirring of His strength in me. This is why you are here listening to this video at all. You are not finding meaning building in darkness. You are starting to notice that you do not find peace in your depression and anger. Otherwise, you would embrace depression and anger. But where do these take you? They take you in a fit of rage to a depressed place. How do you imagine depressing yourself, condemning yourself, and fighting is going to bring you peace and fullness? Clearly, this is a trick. It is simply that you notice you do not feel well, that you are aware of your own reflection. This is the strength of God stirring in you that says you must wake up to see life differently or you will be destroyed. The fact that we can notice our own destruction and how our energy is taken from us by our own doing as we align with the ego. which it is selling us an idea that to do this, to be vampiric to our own thoughts and our way of being, our state of mind, and therefore our state of being, to be vampiric in this way is somehow going to create fullness, somehow going to save us. We are our own saviors. You can offer yourself salvation through the path of forgiveness. And I begin to remember the love I chose to forget, but which has not forgotten me. Okay, I forgive all things because I feel the stirring of his strength in me. We are noticing the effects of our thoughts. We are desiring meaning. Therefore, we are embracing change. Therefore, we must change our minds. Our minds, we have bound to some system which says you must operate in lack and fear. We want to shed this idea, so we forgive ourselves for having tricked ourselves. And we notice levity as this is released. What is there that we were writing over? This will be the unconditional, as it was unable to be changed even with our best efforts. What is that? That is the truth. For the truth is simply light illuminating the darkness. It evaporates it. It is no longer there. We recognize it for the illusion that it always was. But when we were in it and giving allegiance to it, we imagined that it was greater than we ever expected. But darkness cannot hide in the name of truth and unconditional love. That is God's strength. And what does it require? Everything. We give up everything to this idea, as we must leave the system that we have created for ourselves, this prison, because it is not our fundamental design. And everything that we have ever been given, everything that we want is ours, not for the taking, but for the noticing. May we find alignment with this idea through forgiveness. And notice that true vision requires no sacrifice. It may only bless. It is a blessing to give and to receive, and this provides us strength as we keep going down this new path. But this path is not new at all. Of course, it is what we are, which is why we are being magnetized back to it. And this is God's strength stirring within you. You must change now that you have seen it, or you will live in hell by choice. That's it. Please repeat after me. God is the strength in which I trust. "48. There is nothing to fear." Please proclaim this. There is nothing to fear. The words themselves illuminate all of it. There is literally nothing to it. Fear is no thing. There is no thing to fear. There is nothing to fear. There is nothing to it. Unless we declare there is, then we can live with these false illusions. How safe the world will look to me when I can see it. Seeing here, of course, being our true vision, not our physical sight. Although I would imagine that as we can see truly from a spiritual identity, affirming this viewpoint, accepting that it could be real, knowing that we have a consciousness, that as we can see here, I would imagine that existing physically with this idea now back in our minds, that we may see in a physical sense the world differently too. How safe the world will look to me when I can see it. It will not look anything like what I imagine I see now. that we are image making. We are calling it sight, but we are just simply peering into the darkness, looking for where the light is to help us through. We cannot make light out of darkness. We must notice it within ourselves, and then the illusions will be illuminated. Everyone and everything I see will lean toward me to bless me. How can that be? That everything and everyone will lean towards you to bless you. If right now you are living inside of a system of fear, and everyone that you notice around you is living inside of a system of fear, reinforcing the same idea, forget about whether you are creating it or it is being created, although everything depends on this idea. As you, in the first example, are the creator, and if you believe something else is creating it, then you are the victim, and there is no way out. But if you can look outside of this system and what you find is the truth, more meaning, more purpose, and it was outside of the system in which you were living, in which you thought everyone else was living, wouldn't you have discovered one of the most rarest, scarcest commodities, ideas that could ever exist, even if you only understood a fraction of it? Wouldn't that be one of the most valuable things within the system of fear? That fear would be frightened as it is. That's all it can be and all it can try to sell. But that it would be frightened of the truth that you have discovered. Why? Because the truth dissolves fear. It dissolves lies and untruths. Of course, people would be curious about what you have discovered. And if you are wearing this, and now you believe that you are a creator and you are connected to this, no matter how small, again being relative, this idea might be for you because it is new. Well, if this is the new lens that you have, you will see everything through it. Everything will become enveloped in your holiness. It is a blessing to give and to receive. You are fuller, so you will have more to give. You will be giving your fullness. You will have repetitions behind you now of forgiveness. You will know that you can do this and you will be strengthened by God. You will notice that you are starting to be connected to God. You are feeling His love and the strength is stirring inside of you. If you are offering this blessing and you are simply noticing the reflection of everything you are creating, everything will be blessing you in return. Wouldn't it be wonderful to bless and to be blessed rather than to believe you have to hoard something to have it? You may give your fullness away and never, ever be without it. I will recognize in everyone my dearest friend, capital F, dearest friend. That here we are affirming our spirit identity, just as we are saying Son of God, capital S, Him, capital H, voice, capital V. That we are referring to the spiritual, the mystical, the eternal when we say these. And when we say dearest friend, we are denying the idea that we had enemies at all. There is no need for that. Not when we are innocent. We are not condemned anymore. It's okay to notice differences in experience, but we are fundamentally alike, all connected through mind, through God. Everyone is your dearest friend in the spiritual realm because you are invulnerable. You are at perfect peace and perfect safety. There is no such thing as someone walking through perfect peace and perfect safety that will threaten your freedom from worry. You will recognize in everyone your dearest friend. What could there be to fear in a world that I have forgiven and that has forgiven me? Fundamentally, what could hurt you if you have let it go? If it shows up, even if you are creating it, you know how to let it go. Now you have every tool that you could ever need to solve anything, and it is the same tool. In the realm of time and space, we have the opportunity to forgive. This breaks the system through which we have been seeing life. This is the miracle. You are the miracle. You are the salvation for all things. It is your thoughts and their blessings which are mirroring, which are reflecting through God's light everything around you. And everything around you is showing you what you are creating. So create peace. Dare yourself to build in a new system. Dare yourself to bring peace into the system in which you find yourself. Move through the darkness. You have created it. It is simply you and your ideas and your fears inside of there. They cannot harm you. You are invulnerable. You may recognize them with love and clean them, cleaning yourself. Forgiveness is the tool. It breaks all laws. To forgive, giving is actually receiving. Please repeat this idea. There is nothing to fear. "49. God's voice speaks to me all through the day." Please repeat this. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. All through the day. That fundamentally, there could not be a single moment that you could recognize where God's voice is not speaking to you, that you are divinely connected to Him. Of course, He's not overwhelming you with language, casting it out into the room for all to hear like some loudspeaker so you can never hear yourself think. It is your thinking by which you are connected to God. If you are not noticing it, that is okay. The same would be true for me too. I do not always hear God's voice. I find parts of me feeling upset, and thank God I do, because this allows me the practice to let them go. And with more clarity, I may hear. You are always being spoken to. God is love. He is your source. You are a miracle, and the source of miracles is love. Their expression is love, and all love is expressed maximally. This is a natural process, even if it is not being noticed. This is the fundamental design of God speaking to you. If you are not noticing His love, it does not mean that it is not there. You are just not noticing it right now. You have a different way of perceiving, and you are changing your perspective. In time, through the path of forgiveness, you will be unburdened. And you may notice that God is directing you at all moments, every day. It is the fundamental foundation of what you are, sharing thoughts with God. There is not a moment in which God's voice ceases to call on my forgiveness to save me. Let's just repeat it. There is not a moment in which God's voice, capital V, ceases to call on my forgiveness to save me. We are constantly being reminded through everything we are experiencing and every detail of everything we are noticing that if we could just see it a different way, we will notice that we are being asked to forgive at all times. That forgiveness is the tool that grants us access to miracles, which are fundamentally ideas beyond our system of thinking, but they do exist. They are the illumination that there is some other system. That is God's light. That is His voice. There is not a moment in which His voice fails to direct my thoughts, guide my actions, and lead my feet. Just because you do not notice God guiding you does not mean you are actually separate from Him. You need not be separate from God. It is your perspective on life. You do not need to live below a system that requires you to give up your sovereignty and health and mind and money to coercion and control, depression, war, attack. You do not need to feel shameful, depressed, or small. You are infinite. You are boundless in your light. I am walking steadily on toward truth. Declare the path that you are on. It is okay if right now it's murky. Keep going. Keep going. You are walking steadily on toward truth. There is nowhere else I can go because God's voice is the only voice and the only guide that has been given to his son. Okay. Because God's voice, capital V, is the only voice, capital V, and the only guide, capital G, that has been given to his son, capital S. You are a son of God, spiritual in this sense. You are being guided. There is only one guide, your creator. The creator lives in the eternal, beyond time, can see all order. It is certainly in your benefit to notice God as your North Star, that he is your guide, and his voice, your intuition, the strength stirring within you, is your connection, your surefire success in having everything that you want, noticing meaning in everything that is, feeling divine purpose, and then laughing at the way that you chose to see life before. It is fundamentally an illusion, and to give favor to it over an idea of God's voice directing you will lead you on a path that you appear to be desiring, you think is netting you something, but can never leave you to God so long as you walk on it. But the experience that you have allows you to reference the experience that you had and to let it go. And this, through this process of forgiveness, is showing you, reminding you that you are connected to God. And so, with the new perspective, you realize you have always been walking on a path with God. You just thought you were lost. But you have been at the edge of the jungle, pleading for mercy and help. And you've been 10 trees away from the clearing the whole time. It's okay. You're right here with yourself, in your mind, invulnerable, in perfect peace and safety. You need not worry. There is nothing to fear. Please repeat after me. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. You may notice God's voice. When you notice God's voice, you may take action to forgive as you are being directed. You have the strength to move forward. You are fundamentally embraced with love, and this is why you have the opportunity to forgive. That well will never run dry. Please trust and dare yourself to take a step in a direction of what would feel healthy if you are not finding it where you are, or if you believe that your shame and depression and your anger and your hate and your fear and your pain are meaningful to you, well, then accept your own condemnation. At least it will provide you more opportunity to recognize the area around you, the place in which you have decided to live, your own mental prison. And when this feels sick enough, you may wish for health. And God will always be here, patiently waiting with unconditional love to accept you and to encourage you to walk through your own mess, to feel your way back to love by cleansing that which you have adopted, believing that this hell needs to be your home. It does not. 50. I am sustained by the love of God. Please say this out loud. I am sustained by the love of God. That is to say, in the love of God, you are invulnerable. You are always alive and well. And your belief that you are not is your own trick, because the unconditional, the wholly unchanged, the truth will always dissolve your illusions when you allow it. And once we let those things go, we will simply notice the foundation which is there, which is God's love and the fact that you still exist, even though your ego was telling you you will be destroyed. It is simply itself which is afraid. As I listen to God's voice, I am sustained by His love. As I open my eyes, His love lights up the world for me to see. We are opening our eyes to true vision. Our eyes, in this way, are taking in God's light. We are processing that light in this way. And we are seeing the world differently than we ever have before. We are noticing His light, therefore, in absolutely everything we could see. And we are equipped, therefore, with the tool to always be awakened to absolutely anything or anyone, anywhere, at any time. Even if they are not present, what can that mean? That means that we are operating from a spiritual perspective, a spiritual identification. And it is okay to notice that you have a spirit, that you have a consciousness, that you exist. And it is a blessing to be aligned with a physical body that knows its spiritual self is made of love. As I forgive, His love reminds me that His Son is sinless. How could you be sinless? Well, you are sinless in your innocence. How are you innocent? Through the path of forgiveness. Okay. If you believe you are condemned and you curse God, well, you are condemned to some prison or hell because you are guilty fundamentally. So now you must live with some kind of guilt. If you can forgive, you can relieve yourself of this guilt. If you become innocent, then you cannot be condemned. And if you are innocent, you are sinless. Forgive yourself. God's love accepts you. And as I look upon the world with the vision He has given me, I remember that I am His Son. How do we remember? It is through the strength of God in me, which I am remembering as I forgive. So rereading this last line. As I look upon the world with the vision He has given me, that is true vision, just simply noticing with ease what is true and what is an illusion, what is perfect created by God, and what has been our plaything in darkness. As I look upon the world with the vision He has given me, remember, this is innately part of you. You may recognize that you are equipped with this tool. It is why you feel an incongruence in you now. It is why your lowness is not serving you. It is why you seek more meaning and understanding and peace, because you have the opportunity to notice it. And as I look upon the world with the vision he has given me, I remember through the power of forgiveness, taking that step, we wake up to remembering our own strength and connection. I remember that I am his son. Please allow the idea of forgiveness to be a tool for purifying yourself. That you are responsible for your own salvation because you have decided that you are separate from God. You fundamentally are not. What father would not want the best for his son? What loving father, healthy father, eternal in this case, would not want to provide everything that could be for his son? You even have the ability to do like many sons do, defy their fathers in arrogance. A father who has grown and knows this understands. A loving father always is available to greet you and prays for you that you may wake up to love. Everything is okay. Everything is okay. There is nothing to fear. You are sustained by the love of God. You will remember this as you reach beyond yourself the way you have been thinking and be curious about building in a new system. You may do this by forgiving. You must go first and give. Give yourself life and love and levity through the power of forgiveness. Do something different than how you have been experienced in the world and raise yourself up to notice God's love. And as we get closer, we will be pulled in by its gravitational pull. Please repeat after me one more time. I am sustained by the love of God. Wow. Lesson 60 complete. Tomorrow starts lesson 61. We will begin new lessons. I have no idea what's in store for us. We will also begin reviewing the principles. So tomorrow we will begin principle 1, which we have already spoken about on day 1. We will do 1 through 50 in conjunctions with exercises 61 for the next 50 days, after which I assume we will be doing another review session, likely 5 lessons at a time, but we'll find out when we get there. If we are reviewing, we will simply review as we are being asked to. We will set the principles aside and return to them after the review session. If that's too much, fear not. Just come again tomorrow. We will learn a whole new lesson. We will begin the real work again with this foundation that we have. Just as we have begun life on our own, we imagine abandoning this foundation of thoughts we have with God, but we are waking back up to this. We were reminding ourselves that there is another way of seeing this, and we declare we are interested above all else in seeing life differently. So thank you for your love and appreciation and open-mindedness. Thank you for being curious about abundance, truth, and love. Thank you for declaring that you are worthy, powerful, abundant, and complete by design. Thank you for appreciating what you are. And thank you for noticing the effects of your seeing, that you are curious about waking up to a new way of feeling as we are not feeling fullness with our current way of being. Our current state of being is a reflection of our state of mind. So we are opening our minds to new ideas and remembering through the process of forgiveness, acting in time and space. We are remembering that we are here for this miracle and we are becoming it as we try it on. As we become it, we become its blessing. and therefore we have a fullness that we can give. It is a blessing to give and to receive, and therefore everyone who is witness to our light is receiving that blessing and the opportunity to notice that they too may wish to feel differently. That everything that we are perceiving ourselves, the gratitude of anyone else noticing something different, is our own gratitude for having done whatever we need to do for ourselves. That we move forward simply focusing on our own minds. That we are here to heal ourselves. And in this process of healing, we set the stage for healing in everything that we see. Please be willing to transcend your body identification and recognize that you have a spirit identification. What would that be? What would it be made of? How could you know perfect peace and perfect safety and freedom from worry? I am Kesten Rono. God is the love in which I forgive. God is the strength in which I trust. There is nothing to fear. God's voice speaks to me all through the day, and I am sustained by the love of God. Thank you for being here. Tomorrow, we will continue with our learning and our practice. Can you feel your change? I can.